to tell. He's a classic example of a young man from a good family who has terrific friends and has been presented with great opportunities in his life, none of which has made him immune to the disease of alcoholism. At 23 years old, Fedoruk has been sober for 2.5 years. He shares his courageous story with Leslie Goodell at one of his favorite hangouts in South Jersey.
I'm an alcoholic. All I know how to do is drink and get loaded. Whatever it takes to get loaded. I mean, that's how I lived for 13 to 20 years old, 7 years.
Todd Fedoruk was raised in a small town in Western Canada, where the doors are left unlocked at night, and parents rarely worry about the safety of their children. As the second youngest of 5, Fedoruk was ever eager to fit in with the big kids. He had his first drink when he was 13 years old.
I remember pretty vaguely I made an idiot of myself, but I mean, I loved the feeling I got from the booze. I felt more confident, more, I guess I had more courage and stuff like that. Felt like I was more comfortable around people and things like that.
And it had that kind of effect on you right away from
from day one. Day one, I loved what alcohol did for me. Booze, anything. I loved the feeling it gave me and stuff like that. And it just, from there, I didn't have the faintest clue of what was gonna come, but it progressed.
The progression began when, at 14, Fedoruk left home to play junior hockey. He was first confronted with his drinking problem 3 years later, in 1997, while playing for the Kelowna Rockets of the Western Hockey League. General manager Bruce Hamilton traded Fedoruk away from the party lifestyle that the popular tourist town provided.
My drinking and stuff like that was affecting the team. I mean, I came to a couple games. I would booze on my breath and stuff like that, and, you know, at 17 years old, it's too young to be doing that.
He wasn't a fit athlete, and I just knew that he had some attractions outside of the building that certainly were affecting his game, and eventually I caught him onto it and thought that a change would be the best thing for him.
He said to me when I got traded, he goes, "You'll come back one day and thank me," and I didn't say that. At that time, I was, you know, I flipped him the bird and said, "Yeah, whatever, I'm out of here, buddy."
By September of 2000, Fedoruk was in Philadelphia playing for the Phantoms and drinking as much as ever. His abusive lifestyle going unnoticed, not just by the outside world, but by himself as well.
I never thought I had a problem with the lifestyle I was leading. I thought it was part of my nature to be wild and just a great party guy and stuff like that. And I never really looked at it as a problem. By the end of it, I was going to bars by myself because nobody wanted to drink the way I wanted to or do things the way I wanted to. And I just found myself alone all the time, and I still didn't know something was wrong.
But Fedoruk's friends, as well as the Flyers organization, did, and it was time for him to get some help. Suddenly, the guy who made a living by fighting was about to embark on the biggest fight of his life.
What did you learn about yourself when you went into rehab?
When I first went in, I told myself, well, you know, I'll just get through this and stuff like that. But then when I learned about what it is, it's an actual disease. I mean, it's in the books, the doctors wrote it down. So it's an actual disease, and there's a way to live without it. I mean, when I first got out, I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to feel. Any feelings I had when I was drinking, stress, anger, anything, I'd just drink them away. Now I had to deal with all these things, and I was pretty much 13 again. So I had to learn how to grow up and deal with things as a responsible person.
Fedoruk's new lease on life is carried over to his abilities on the ice. Last year, he played in a career-high 55 games and finished with the team-high 141 penalty minutes.
Over the last couple of years, my game it's improved because I stopped drinking. I'm able to work on things. I'm able to actually set goals for myself and pat myself on the back sometimes. And I mean, it's night and day. I was down on the East Coast, and then I got sober, and I'm in the NHL. So I mean, that says everything right there.
Fedoruk has dreamed of playing hockey since he first laced up his skates when he was 3 years old. And he knows that keeping that dream alive means not just achieving sobriety, but staying sober.
Do you ever worry that you would relapse or decide one day you want that drink?
It's always going to be there. I always have to keep my guard up, and you know, it's always, alcohol is always around, especially in my profession.
I I'm very proud of Todd for what he's done and what he owned up to, and he's turned his life around. And he may not be the best player in the NHL, but he's got over a lot of hills that a lot of people wouldn't get over, and he's making a living doing what he loves doing.
I wouldn't have hockey if I didn't get sober, and I think that has almost everything to do with it. I wouldn't have my life and stuff like that either. Eventually, it would have taken me.
Fedoruk did go back to Kelowna this past summer and thanked the man who traded him, Bruce Hamilton. Todd says he could never do enough to thank his teammates, particularly former teammates Jesse Boularice and Andy Delamore, and the Flyers organization, who he says, from top to bottom, has been by his side the whole way. We'll continue the hockey talk.
Try to get in here.